Texas of Crete.
Of Creed.
Of
لو
Creed.
سمحت. With arms wide open.
Shut up. Shut up. I hate you so much. I saw your brain thinking about it. I was looking at you like, okay, which song is it gonna pick? So it's gonna be With Arms Wide Open or Can You Take Me Higher?
Of course. So good. Always with arms wide open.
So
But see you.
Sorry, I'm gonna just destroy your conversation real quick, but
Please.
I think Seal had one of the hardest hits on a movie soundtrack of all time.
Kiss on a Rose, whatever
Yes.
it's called.
That's the only Seal song I know.
Exactly. No, I think like until this day, I think nothing was just as
I mean,
wild as that track.
I mean,
That had nothing to do with the movie
Whatsoever. Whatsoever.
But that track was fire.
good for him for overcoming a disability when singing because he had flippers and a fin, so he was able to.
All his albums before that was
Yes, exactly.
Until that song.
Yes, exactly, and he overcame his disability. He was able to enunciate.
Our hero. our hero.
Our hero.
Is this where we're going with the guys?
We're
Hey,
stupid.
welcome back to Kabsa Boys. What's happening? What's popping? Episode
We're keeping this?
264.
No.
I got the homie Turks right next to me.
Yo.
I got number one right there. It's a celebration. Shams is not here.
Oh, so better.
We're having a good time.
We can actually speak without being interrupted for nothing.
Intellectual thoughts.
For nothing.
Well, Shams is doing his gaycation. You know, we have some space for ourselves. I want to look. Actually, every time Shams goes on vacation, I'm kind of angry when he comes back because that's the annoying part. Because he's gonna come on a high, you know. He's gonna be still on vacation.
Yeah,
mode.
vacation Shamsi.
He's gonna come and tell
we
me,
keep
you know,
forgetting about that character.
the real way to feed your spirit
Yeah.
and your soul is friendship. You know, he's giving me that kind of bullshit.
It was amazing, Adil. I went to the same place, did the same thing with the same people. It was amazing, Adil.
It was so much fun.
It was so much fun. It's not like I see him every weekend.
Oh, Shamsi. I said something, but I can't say it here on the podcast because all of them get angry at me. But fuck it. So I was like, if for some God forbid reason that all of you pass away, none of you will be missed. no one will give you a shout out. There's gonna be no Virgil for you. No one cares. Life will go on.
Harsh but true.
Yes. It's the sadness in this room. Anyway, boys, it was good. What's happening? What's popping? Let's get started on this so we can get out of here.
Tell me.
We start the podcast hoping to end it.
Yes. Diamond. Always, actually, yeah.
I always hope.
I was telling number one, I hate talking about creatives over and over again, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was having this conversation this week. And it's a same conversation that I had with Gillick a good 100 times, right? And because, you know, when you see something so many times, you just get angry because, like, yo, guys, like, there's a way to do things.
You get
Like,
annoyed.
Yeah, like, why do you guys keep doing the dumb shit? So I was talking with this guy talking about, yo, we're not getting any support. We're not getting any help in order for us to be in a certain position. You know, I've been working real hard, but I don't get the opportunities. And I'm like, what is this handout culture that we live in?
It's entitlement.
Fair point.
Why does everyone think that, like, commissions and entities should do things for them?
I believe that for a lot of people, the novelty or the idea that, hey, I'm a Saudi and I'm doing this for the first time.
You better mute your phone.
Sorry.
Tell her you're busy. Tell Chelsea your whole head after this.
No, it's the group chat.
Sure.
Yes.
Tell them.
Tell the group chat that you're busy.
So,
And Pizza Hut.
Tell the group chat you call her tonight. ما عليك later.
الفطيرة الدمشقية قصدك؟
Hey, yes.
Do you take 2 selfies for each side? Or just no, I'm
I-
sorry, we're not doing this. We're not doing this again.
No, that's panoramic. I was going to say, you stole my joke. You stole my joke, you piece of shit. I was going to say that. I was going to dunk on me.
I was gonna dunk on me. Yo. Oh my god. Anyway, so wide angle lens.
Wide angle lenses, exactly. So on the handout culture, there's, I believe, a lot of entitlement based on the novelty that, hey, I'm a Saudi, I am doing this. There's not a lot of people doing this. So I should be supported based on tokenism.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people doing things though.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the people now realize, and that card doesn't have a lot of purchasing power anymore. The fact that, أنا سعودي دعمني.
I still don't get it. Like, I understand what you're saying. I understand that there was a time when things were blowing up, that everybody want to put the eyes on themselves for the work they've been doing for such a long time, and they were looking for the support and, you know, the handout also to support them do the things that they want to do. And then, like 4 years in, things are not the same as it was before, and they're like, yo, all these people got these opportunities, but I never did get my shot.
You're not owed a shot.
Exactly. I think the number one thing like creatives should really think about is just growing their fan base. If you focus on your own fan base and you build your reputation between people who actually like your things, then everyone will respond to you. Because everyone goes with 200 followers and talking about, hey, I want you to support me. Okay, I'll support you, but I'll support you for the things that fit me, not fits you.
I also think the problem here is that a lot of people are putting their eggs in one basket. And when it sense and I am going to commit to being creative, it's not going to pan out. And now I have to re-enter the job force and I have a 7-year gap in my CV.
But isn't that what they tell you? Just okay, don't put all your eggs in one basket. But if you're going to do something that you love, just give it your all.
Give it your all من ناحية effort, من ناحية commitment, but be realistic when you have responsibilities, when you have bills, you need to have stability beforehand. Especially
True, I agree. That makes sense.
Yeah,
be sensible about what you.
Especially if you have mouths to feed and people who rely on you financially.
True. But that's not the message that we keep giving creatives.
It should be.
It should be, definitely. Yes, be sensible.
Is it?
But it's not as exciting as just go for it. You know that.
Yeah, but again,
do it.
But again, not to be cynical here. Even if you go for it, you might not be that talented or good at it.
Agreed.
There's a lot of people I've seen in various capacities, and their work is displayed in mid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
Yeah, we saw that a lot.
Yeah, mid. Okay,
but
fine.
Are we telling them the message that, yo, go for it? Or are we saying you have a chance to go for it?
I think the message is that we should be putting out there is that the opportunity is there. Shoot your shot if you think you're good enough.
But also, you said it, be realistic. The competition is high.
Yes.
So it's not because you're doing something, it means that you deserve anything.
Is the competition high?
Yeah, I would say.
I think
between mids, yes.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Between mids, yes.
We see a lot of mid
Yes.
works of art, let's say.
Because there was only like 10, 15, 20 people who really were dedicated for over 10, 15 years, who really studied art and wanted to be a part of art.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
Now
the rest of them are just aspiring artists.
Upstarts.
So the competition between mids, I get it. But how would one assess their creative capacity, let's say?
It's one of those things.
Are you another mid that's going to be like within or challenging the rest of the
How
scene?
dedicated
Or
are you?
No,
Do you understand the basics?
we
of
go
what you
back
do?
to how dedicated are you? Give it your all. Don't be sensible
Yeah,
about
give it your all. But no one ever said quit your day job and make this your main focus.
That's the thing. Some
Yeah.
people do.
Exactly.
Some people say that.
So when you were talking about a messaging a second ago, I don't think the message was, yo, quit and work on the thing that you love. That was never the message. The message was that there's a possibility for everybody to get a shot at something, right? Something that they love.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that you love, bring it out. But no one ever said quit. But most of these like creatives, they're looking at other creatives being in certain positions and they'd be like, oh, they made it. Even though when you're in the industry, you understand that a lot of people never made nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at the fashion industry, right?
Yeah.
If you look at just the raw data, it's not doing well. The models are not doing well. The creatives in it are not being very creative. Everybody's relying on the same 2 magazines to come and show them support, right? And those magazines have been dying for a long, long time. But they see the optics of it and they read the name of the magazine, see the people like, oh, he made it. I need to make it. Even though like we know if you're in the industry, those things almost have zero value.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't really give you anything for your work.
Zero value for someone who is already in the industry, but an outsider coming in, those things actually, they give you validation.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
looking at the validation, thinking that it's cemented and these people are making money.
It's the end goal. That's
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
It's not about what you've done, it's what you've done recently.
Okay.
It's
Magazine. Okay.
yeah, again, realistically speaking, when you made the point and can you tell that this person is not a mid, I would make the argument you can tell. It's one of those things that you know it when you see it. If there is a certain quality, if there's a certain statement to his work, if there's a certain something that you can tell, oh, this person is special, like Entitled, for
Yeah,
example.
but that's something that requires an outsider's perspective,
Yes,
not your own.
yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
that's why you are not...
So validation.
Not validation. Again, validation, I'm hesitant of using the word validation.
I know it's a word that is not very positive. Let's say.
Yeah, it's a validation is basically saying, oh, good job.
Yeah.
Hug box and you did it. Well, I'm
Yeah.
you
Good
drew
boy.
you drew a mural واحدة منقبة وكاتب something. I'm like, oh, statement.
Yeah.
Statement. You made a t-shirt that says مسكين بالعربي and like, oh, statement. It's like, oh, حطيت خط عربي على t-shirt.
في رمزية.
في رمزية به عبرة. I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
You were featured in a blog post, you were featured in a magazine, but you can tell when something is special.
True.
All right.
But you can't tell it yourself. You need someone
Yeah, me.
with the right eye, with the right perspective.
I can tell you're special, and my rate card is available.
Okay. All right, special man. You are special also.
He is
Yes,
special.
I'm
True, yeah.
I'm so
very,
special.
very
Ad. I'm so special.
You're the specialist.
I'm too-
Clinically special.
I'm
Clinically special.
I'm too special sometimes.
So, what both of you are saying right now,
Mm.
when you're looking at art, if you're someone who understands art, you're looking at the style, the messaging. You're looking at multiple things, right?
Yeah, technical
Exactly.
aspects of it as well.
The biggest problem with a lot of people is that they create their own art, and because they believe it is the right thing without doing any study on it, not having the history of knowing why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just coming in and just throwing something on an empty canvas and wanting us all to just start praising them. Because that's what happened. We gave fake claps to a lot of people when they were popping up because we wanted to show real support. And then when those people got the claps, they stopped doing their work.
Yeah, it's a lot of pieces I've seen were glorified arts and crafts at some point.
True.
To be devil's advocate here, I am fully supporting the idea of this is what I believe, this is how I feel, and this is how I present what I believe in as a message, whatever that may be. Go for your truth, king. But on the flip side, you're not entitled to my, positive reception. Okay, you put your heart and soul into mid. I recognize that it's your heart and soul, but it's also mid.
Cool story, boy.
Yes.
I don't know what to tell you. That's what you should be doing. That's what I expect everybody to do. The only people that are going to clap you, for, like really just hype you up, even though you have nothing, is usually what's the name? The people who really don't care about you. They just want to be around you and
Cloud chasers.
Yeah, and just share your success as if it's their own. But to a lot of people, they're not even looking at the basic things that they do every day.
What do you mean by that?
Any basics of style.
You have a personality.
Oh, yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, and,
That's difficult for a lot of people.
and even the idea of the basic 101.
Did it hit home, Turks? Did it hit
Yeah,
home?
yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
the basic 101 technicals of your certain craft, you need to be hitting every single time. You need to master the basics before, quote unquote, you break the rules. Because I've seen, me and Sultan Galag have talked about this as well.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sultan. I had to talk to him.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Why?
But character growth on his part.
Oh, okay.
Increasing tolerance.
Yes, he's better off.
It's his CSR. He's giving back.
Yes, giving back to me.
Yes,
So
yes, special one.
So special. We were discussing certain people and certain creatives who have an obsession. I look at me, I broke this rule of the art. But the thing we settle on is like, yo, my homie, you need to understand the rules before you break them.
Of course.
You're
True.
not demonstrating the
So
technical.
you know what you're breaking.
Yeah.
بالضبط. So I'm seeing a lot of people who are doing photography. I'm like, this composition, no rule of thirds, no golden ratio, but like, it's quote unquote interesting. The lighting is all messed up, and like, oh, that's on purpose. No, it doesn't look like it's on purpose. It's not telling me something. It's saying, my brother, you didn't correct the lighting on this. It's overexposed. It's blown out, etc.
Yeah.
Same with movies. Same with art in general.
What is the intention behind breaking the rule? That is the question.
Yeah,
that
because
you need to
breaking the
answer
rules
before doing
Yeah,
it.
breaking the rules is not it's not a goals. It's a mean.
Yes. Agreed. Now none of us are يعني very let's say يعني huge fans of art بشكل عام. Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. Okay. Classic.
Okay.
Art.
I partake in classic art. I have opinions on the anti-Reformation movement and Caravaggio and Baroque artists, etc., etc., etc.
All of that sounds like bullshit, to be honest.
No, it's
No, it's actually
it's
right.
real to me. God damn it,
Yes.
it's real.
Who are your favorite artists?
Francisco Goya, Caravaggio.
Who are these? Give me examples of their work. عشان أعرف. I
No,
might know them. I don't know.
Yes. If you Google, you know them.
Do you know the famous one of Saturn devouring his son?
Yes.
Yes.
I still love that one.
Yeah, that's Francisco Goya.
Okay.
And this guy just randomly went insane and drew 13 paintings on the
And everyone is scarier than the other one.
yeah,
Yeah.
and 13 paintings on the inside of his house. And he died, and they found him when they died. And like every single painting looks like a nightmare.
Like an actual nightmare.
Okay.
It's dark. It's really dark.
Yeah. Now, why do you like that artist?
Because he's special.
Because
let me go with this train of thought.
let's follow the train of thought.
That's
Yeah,
all right. We all know he's the special
yes,
one.
we're gonna hit those points later on. Yeah.
I apologize.
I look at those art pieces and I get such a strong reaction, and
From the work.
from the work itself, like that's something like ooh, it's
What gets that? What gives you that strong reaction?
The use of colors, the composition. It looks dream-like. Like, you know how you're having a dream and when you look at somebody and their features are not quite right. You feel-
Yeah.
It's like that captured in a painting. It's every single painting you get the idea of, hey, what the hell is going on here? It's like you're looking into a single frame of a horror story.
Okay. And why do you think the artist? How do you think the artist achieved that?
Because he lived through the Spanish Civil War. It helps.
Don't ask questions.
A lot of people lived through the Spanish Civil War.
He was
Not all of them became great artists.
Look, I understand where you're trying to go with this, right?
I'm trying to figure out what made this artist one of his favorites, and is that something that we can find in any artist nowadays?
No. All the art he's talking about, that was a talent that was lost to time. Digital art is the thing of today. And the reason I respect a lot of digital art is I look at it in the same way when I look at old paintings.
Yeah.
I don't look at it as who's the artist. Most of the time when I look at something that I'm enjoying, I'm thinking about the human behind it.
Yes.
How did your brain put these things together?
Exactly.
You know, like I told you, we sat like me and Jay in the Vatican Museum for like 2 hours discussing Pharaoh
It's amazing.
because he's human.
Yeah.
Right? But he convinced people that he was more than human.
Exactly.
So I'm always fascinated by the people and what they created. So to me, the people are as important as the thing that they're creating.
Do we know of any artists nowadays that are like mentally interesting enough to create works of art that would evoke some sort of emotion as those art pieces did to you?
Emotion?
At the end of the day, that's what art is.
Yeah, I think emotion, like it's became very rare.
Mara.
Yeah. So I don't think now it's not more emotion. Now it's more like what's the word I'm looking for? Like when I look at Dr. Ahmed Mattar's work, right? It's fascination. It's the thought oh, he took something that we already know and set up in a way.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Just basically
There-
evoking that word.
Yeah,
You know?
there's one artist that I think he's doing something different. I think you've heard of him, I believe, because I think a lot of his work was done in architecture as well. Damien Hirst.
I've heard that name.
I think he did
I know
the.
that name.
I think there's like a maternity hospital in Qatar, and one of the statues is like the development of a fetus, mujassam. I think it's in the Emirates or Qatar. His most famous thing is that he took an actual baby skull from like the 1800s, something that died from like a sickness or whatever, and he just put jewels on it.
Oh, yeah.
That is
So
wild.
I know that guy.
that's like crazy. I'm like, yo, that was a person that you bedazzled.
Bedazzled.
That's what it is.
That's actually
That's
true.
it. That's it.
I
Yeah,
can't say
it's
no.
ridiculous.
But again,
That's one, huh?
again,
Yes.
Yeah.
let me see it. Like, I remember that one. When you're talking about these people, it's because of how their brain made something in a world that is very
It got a reaction.
got a reaction. Like right now, I think most artists are looking for inspiration from other artists. Most works look very similar, especially when it comes to digital art.
Yes.
A lot of work looks very similar. If you spend a lot of time, what's the name of that website that all the graphic artists are on?
Behance.
Which
I think,
one?
oh yeah, Behance, right?
yeah.
Behance.
If you spend a lot of time on Behance, you're going to be influenced to do different things, right?
True.
So I think one of the issues that I see a lot of the work around here is that I try to figure out, was this self-influenced or was this influenced on?
But that's not.
That the lines blur a lot.
Exactly.
Because I think one of the standard accepted practices in art in general is called master studies, where you basically take quote unquote the work of a master and just try to copy it and understand why it's good.
Yeah.
That's something. It's like literally, it's like tracing with extra steps at this point. And every single art curriculum I've heard of uses this as a core part of it. They take, okay, Michelangelo's David, why does this work? Try to emulate that. The Mona Lisa, why does this work? Try to emulate that, etc., etc.
Break it down. Understand it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think because the fascination was, how was all this done back then? And how was it so accurate? Today, it's
Lots of money from popes.
also that.
Lots of money from popes.
Right? And so Florence was the bank. It was the bankroller of artists, musicians,
Wars.
theater, wars. And so you supported all these people, and we all look at it back at how many years behind us and say, oh, this stood like the test of time. And to this day, it's great. So that's why we study it. I understand that. I respect that a lot. But you studying something and getting information how it's done should improve you, right?
Yes.
It's not like, yo, this is how it's done. This is how I'm going to do it. That's why I said, yo, we will respect people more if they really were in love with their art. Like when an artist does something that actually fascinates you, you're going to ask questions. And having the chance to talk to the artist is even better for you to kind of get their state of mind. I said on this podcast like a long time ago, I saw this amazing painting. And it was like very dark. And when I talked to the artist, I was like, what was the feeling after this? Oh, I had my exams and I was kind of annoyed. Okay, cool. Thank you. I swear to God, I'm like, yeah, all right. All right. You know what? I thought there was some feelings toward this, some thoughts. And I was like, yo, it's dark.
It's real to him or her.
Her. That's why I was even more angry because it felt like, yo, you understand emotions. And this felt like it has emotions. But when I talked to you, you gave me zero emotions.
A math quiz was really driving my anxiety that day.
See, how many people that? Okay, I'll ask you a better question. And let's say all these artists were supported, right? How many of these artists you see in front of you that can actually pass the torch down and teach the next generation?
I mean,
3.
Yeah.
yeah, I think most of them are still in their mid 20s, early 30s. And like, you do not have life experience, my brother and or sister.
And do you know what's also the problem with that?
What?
Even if there's people who are trying to pass the torch, a lot of people here do not want to be taught by other people.
Yeah, I think it's a weird thing about self gatekeeping. And
Yes.
And I do not want to be taught by Flan. I am just as good at Flan. I'm like, take the lesson, my guy.
Like a friend of mine has a product, and this company wanted that product. And he didn't agree on a deal with them because they said, we will buy your product for us. And he was like, okay, but I still get the credits. And they were like, no, you don't get the credits. We buy it off of you and we do this thing. And he was like, no, I'm not going to do this deal. I was like, why? He was like, because they're taking my work. I was like, are you trying to sell your work or are you trying to create work?
Yeah, that's what the money is for.
If you're trying to sell something, you will lose some sort of ownership in it whatsoever, right? If I buy someone's painting and I put it in my bathroom, it's none of his business I put it in my bathroom.
Yeah. Fun fact: the famous characters in Marvel and DC, none of them are owned by their creator. Most of them are owned by the company itself.
True.
It's work for hire. You create something, I own it. Batman, Fantastic Four, etc. None of their creators, quote unquote, own them. They're credited, but they don't own them.
It's not even in art, it's even in music. It's in film.
True.
We say, yo, Universal is amazing. Warner Brothers is amazing. Disney is amazing. But there's 100 people, tens of thousands of people that work under that company that actually created that art and brought it to life or stole it from a book back in the day.
Public domain. Public domain.
Public domain. It's been 40 years. So when you see the business side of it, you can understand the business. But if you're an artist, you don't want to understand the business. If you don't want to understand the business, then it's not going to be your livelihood. So either you go with the business model that's happening in front of you that everybody is exercising, or you just stick to your own thing, try to create something for yourself, and build something off yourself.
There's a lesson that Stephen King says that I feel a lot of artists need to internalize, is that sometimes you have to kill your babies.
Hey, yo.
Metaphorically. I mean. Metaphorically.
Hey, yo.
Metaphorically, listeners.
That's the quote, yeah.
Yes.
Dot, metaphorically.
Metaphorically. And basically, the idea is that every artist...
Why is it that?
That's Stephen King, not me. ما لي شغل أنا.
Was it with the shrug emoji?
Yeah. Metaphorically. Guys, stop.
So...
No, stop.
No.
So the idea of killing your metaphorical babies is that...
Kill your work.
No. Specifically, every single artist has his one idea that he is in love with. That this is for me. I'm going to do it. This is my passion project, my etc. whatever. Stephen King's advice in don't do it. A lot of the time it's A, you're not ready for it. B, you're not capable of making it successful. And C, it's distracting you from a lot of potential commercial work that will make you sustainable in the long run. Your babies, you'll get to them later on, but never start with your baby.
I think some of the biggest people that we see in music and art and everything else, they don't own most of their work.
But the majority don't.
Yes, they own a percentage of their work.
Yeah.
I mean,
even though they're the ones who created it.
I believe there's an artist that is formerly known as Prince that has a contribution to this.
But yes, and this is how it is. When you see someone like, yo, man, this guy was so good that he made it to the top. No, he made it by sacrificing a lot of his own things in order for him to make it to the top. Because no one's going to put you at the top if they get nothing off of you.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's normal transaction. You're trying to get somewhere. I can get you somewhere. And so you make up some sort of deal where both parties can agree on and you move forward. But a lot of people think that these people who made it to certain places, they just made it on their own because of their hard work.
Yeah.
But that's not the reality of things.
Those bands, rock bands, that every single member is in their 70s and they're still touring.
Exactly.
True.
Excuse me. Oh. And I think that's one of the main issues. I think if we're not going to come out of this little bubble of saying, oh, you owe me, then you're going to have a lot of problems. Either you take your own route and build your own fan base and create value for yourself where people want to pay you for your value. And when they're going to pay you for your value, they're going to take your work.
Yeah, if you're entitled to support, I'm entitled to work that's not mid.
To be honest, and I have never really told Rex this, but I think Rex is the only artist that actually gets it. I truly believe he's the only artist when it comes from the business side and from the artist side. I think he's the only person that I know that actually gets it.
He's outside.
He's really outside.
And that's what you get your name out there. This is what people call you up enough. I am sure, even though I've never talked to Rex about this, I'm sure he has his passion projects that are in the tuck. And once he's established,
100%.
He will let them flow and flourish. But now, no. It's just about getting that money, or shmoney, as he said.
He's getting his name out there, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is the correct way to do it.
Rexy, I'd like to apologize. We talked about something a couple of months ago once I beat this depression, I'm back with you, son. Just give me a few, bro. I'm trying to survive out here. Once I'm good and ready, I'm holler at you, bro.
Ew.
Okay, I love my friends, bro. Anyways, shout out to Rex.
Amen.
That's it. Shout out to Rex. We said this multiple times on this podcast before. I think he's the only one who really gets it. He's the only one who's actually hitting the things that you look from someone to do. Like, this guy didn't just sit back and say, I wish. He actually hustled. He got up. He did his thing, right? He grew his art. We saw him doing some of the funniest things with so many international brands. I mean,
Yes.
he created an amazing product through his emotions and thoughts and feelings.
I still love the certified halal boy NFTs he did.
Oh, and the little, what's the name? Sculptures that he did also. Like, there's so many great things.
Yeah.
Every time I look at Rex and I look at everybody else, I'm like, we have someone here that actually showed you the blueprint of how to do things. But a lot of people are egotistic and do not want to admit that someone within the culture actually did it right. And I see that in a lot of things. We say, oh, we support each other. That's a bunch of bullshit. That's not like each other. I know a lot of you don't really trust each other. A lot of you don't really support each other. You just do it in front of the cameras and shit. But there's actual people in every single sector that actually made a name for themselves by themselves and actually understood the business side of it to put themselves out there and actually got themselves out there. And there's very few people, but I do not understand why a lot of people can't just say, hey, give this man his flowers, give him his love. He did it right. I should study how he did it right, because he didn't look at everyone abroad and did something. No, he did his own thing and actually figured out a way to push it forward. Now, how he pushed it forward is his hustle. There's no right way or wrong way to do it, but he found the right way where he can create art, can create impact, can create a vision of a culture. He knew how to embody a lot of things that is Saudi and then a lot of things of his creativity all into one.
And the messaging.
The messaging, he always hits it every single time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, that's how I know how he's doing his life. It's like, when that's out, like, okay, he got in trouble for that one. That's why he put that post. He got in trouble for that. I still remember when people went at him when he did the Saudi cop thing, the Saudi female cop, and people were going angry. And I had him up, just check out my man, and he was just laughing. I'm like, yo, that's my boy, right? That's my boy right there, man. Keep that alive. Anyways, away from creativity and art, y'all want to talk about petrodollars?
That's what creativity and art is.
That's where we started.
Goodly.
So, Turksis,
Oh my god!
are you familiar with the concept of the petrodollar?
Kinda.
And basically, oil, at least Saudi oil, should be traded exclusively in US dollars.
Yes.
So the idea is that the US dollar would become the reserve currency
And this happened in the 70s.
and the 70s.
73, 74.
Yes, which would become the reserve currency of the world. It's the new gold standard.
Yeah.
This has apparently expired
50 years after.
today or
Yes.
yesterday or whatever.
No, last week, wasn't it?
Last week.
Last week.
Okay, first off, let's pump the brake a little bit. Let's go back.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of important factors into all of this, right? It was after World War II. All countries were doing bad. The only country that was doing good was the U.S. The U.S. wanted to empower its dollars. It wanted to stay away from gold. And they pulled a fast one on the whole world. And the rumor was, because we do not know if there's a real agreement or not. There's been rumors of it being said. There was papers that were allegedly put online that said, yo, this was the agreement. But no side ever came out and said, yo, that's exactly what we did. So we don't know if all this is true or not. But let's say it is true because it feels like it's true. It's been moving like it's true.
A lot of people are
For 50 years?
For 50 years,
Okay.
right?
and a lot of people are in their feelings currently about this potentially ending. So that's an indicator as well.
So this is no one knows if this is real or not? What
The
are you talking about?
The term is strategic ambiguity at Turks.
Okay. Had
So because we know it's somewhat true,
Yeah.
right? This is the part where a lot of times that I kind of get annoyed that we don't get told these stories. Because we've been the backbone of the world economy for 50 years. And no one knew. And it goes back to our leadership, how they don't like to brag and like say things out loud, right? But
Maruf.
this is one of those things where we basically said, okay, world, you need some balancing, we will balance you out. And we teamed up with a superpower that needed that balance. Where they are today, it goes without saying, it was also thanks to us, Rabbi than us,
Alhamdulillah.
right?
Alhamdulillah.
And we played a major role of balancing this world. This whole technology that y'all using, this whole internet, all that was funded in when the dollar became powerful is because we helped support in that. Today, though, it's a different climate than it was before. When the rumors came out a couple of years ago, well, it wasn't even rumors, actually, the US was very blunt about going away from oil. The petrodollar part was always important to me because if the only value to your currency is oil, if you step away from oil, what is going to be your value? And I always had that thought in my mind, but I never understood. Like I could never connect things.
The dollar was never like linked to gold.
It was linked to gold, and they left gold and went to oil.
Yeah, so that was in the 70s.
Yeah. So for 50 years, it's been
Oil.
gold whatsoever.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Gold will go up and down, doesn't affect it.
Okay.
Right?
So what happens now?
This is the thing. Now, the deal being over, Saudi can deal with any form of payment it wants. So when I was looking at the oil part and the petrodollar, I told you before, like I never understood it until digital currency started coming out. Look, by the way, I don't believe in the whole Bitcoin thing that some Japanese dude came out of nowhere and just dropped it and bounced, right? All that, like I do not believe in that. What's so fucking
Stuff
ever?
of legends.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, he just put the code online. He just disappeared, and no one knows where he is. Right?
He's in Virginia.
In Langley.
In Langley, Virginia.
Langley, Virginia.
He is there.
Do you know why Langley, Virginia?
Nope.
That's where the CIA is.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the head office.
Fun fact, Turks, if you're seeing somebody from LinkedIn and they studied in Langley, Virginia, he's a spook.
Maruf.
There's a big chance.
There's a big chance.
So digital currency is going to be the only thing that can save the dollar because it's another fake thing that they can pump it up with bullshit and the whole world will buy into it, right? And for a long time, I've been watching digital currency from aside, trying to figure out what's going on. And then you see the US playing with the idea, oh, we might get in, oh, we might not. All of a sudden, oh, Bitcoin is blowing up. Oh, no, it's not. And we had conversations, like millions of conversations on this podcast about what's the future of digital currency and how countries will adopt it. And with this deal being done, I think it pushes the US more and more into digital currency. But you know who's also a big player in the world that the US really, really hates? China.
Marufin.
And China has been playing the same exact game. Like, oh, okay, so you guys want to use your dollar as a powerful tool. Well, we're going to do our own thing where we can leverage things for ourselves. There's rumors that Saudi has been paying to China in yuan, which is a digital currency. Again, rumors. We don't know if it's true or not. But we do know that the Saudi government has has been looking into digital currency. The idea of digital banks coming out of nowhere is not for nothing.
True.
SEC Bank and whatnot.
D3 was called?
D360.
D360, there you go. So when I look at all that and I'm looking at the petrodollar and now this agreement being done and Saudi being able to say, okay, China, you can pay us in yuan if you want. You don't have to pay us in dollars. We don't need to sell for dollars. We can make our own currency even powerful. We can say, yo, we only buy and sell in Saudi riyal. We can do whatever we want right now.
So now our currency is no longer linked to the dollar?
No, it still is.
No, it's
Still
still
is.
pegged to the dollar.
Okay.
But basically the trade and oil is whatever we feel like, basically.
Will that affect our currency's link to the US dollar?
Well, I'll get to you on that one because something has been happening for a while. So I think...
Is that part of the petrodollar thing or is it?
Yes.
Okay.
It has to. So for a long time, I've been watching everybody flip-flop about what they're going to do in the future with oil, without oil. So I think the US and their head back then was, yo, by 2030, we can actually get cars to be electric. So we can start stepping away from the dollar.
Yeah.
So they built this whole imagination where they're
Good
going to
luck.
force the whole world to go electric because the original idea was 2028. And then they pushed it to 2030. And then they pushed it to 2035. Then they pushed it to 2040. And then some countries said 2060 or something.
Are you familiar with the whole bullet train fiasco in California?
Yes, sir.
So,
Bullet train fiasco?
yes, basically the idea is that they're going to install a bullet train system in California that's connecting California with most of the states, out of the states.
Mm-hmm.
So, a big investment, but it's a huge infrastructure project that makes sense.
Yeah.
The company that pulled out of it said, you know what? Nah, this is not working. This country is inefficient. The logistics and the bureaucracy is too hard to navigate. We're gonna go to another country. They went to Morocco, and the bullet train went live, I think, last year or the year before that.
مستحيل.
Yeah, like, what's happening in California? And it's that.
Now correct me if I'm wrong. They're losing a lot of money because everyone's going electric. So the gas tax is.
So California.
What was it, like 80 million? 800 million?
So California has extra taxes on cars,
Yes.
right? Because the pollution is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so for a long, long time, they were happy making all that money off of cars.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with them saying everybody needs to go electric because of climate change or whatever, right? They notice, oh, shit, we didn't study this properly.
Yeah.
All the taxes that we've been doing for car and gas and everything, that one's going to be dead. So they started to switch it up and said, oh, okay. Now, anyone who owns a car will have to pay, I think, 13 cents per a mile.
Yes, it traveled.
Yeah, traveled per year.
How do you calculate that?
So every time you do an inspection check,
Yeah.
they're going to basically go,
Add that.
they see when you came in, how much was it? And when you came again to renew it, how much it was.
That seems.
It seems like the guys are going to plug in their
That seems
BIOS
easy.
and
Yeah.
change the mileage.
Yeah, that
Yes,
seems-
that's exactly what's going to happen.
That seems apocalyptic and easy to avoid.
Exactly.
So they taxed gas to make people switch to electric.
Yes.
But once they switch to electric, they lost money. So they want to.
So
figure out a
they
new way.
tax the concept of distance traveled.
Yes.
So back to our story.
Yes.
Sorry.
Continue.
Yes.
Okay, so that is very important what's happening in California because it was one of the visions. The visions was to get away from oil.
Yeah.
So I think in their head, they thought by 2030 they'll be out of oil, and that's why they were acting like dicks to us.
Mm-hmm.
They thought they're going to move the whole world in their own way, and then the world's going to say, okay, this is where we have to go, which is exactly what happened. They kept forcing the world to go into like all these cars, but also lied to people saying that it costs so much money to run the energy to charge these cars, and we don't have the infrastructure. And when they saw all these failures happen, they started pulling back and changing their tone with us. So for the last like 4, 5, 6 years, something like that, Saudi has been negotiating a deal that we keep hearing about with the U.S. The U.S. the last 6 months spent more time here than anywhere else.
Interesting.
Actually, the last year.
Yeah.
Like-
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, you watch you like remember when Biden came in and started talking shit,
Yeah.
right? When he came in talking shit because his old ass head is still on the old plan that we need nobody.
Yeah.
And then when the realities of things happening, the wars has been happening, kind of showed, it's not working. And then the U.S. also, I don't think that. Look, the petrodollar is going to die one day sooner or later.
Yes.
And I think the reason for it is not only because of how they behave, it's actually because of how they're weaponizing the dollar. For example, they came out last week and said, hey, all the money that we took away from Russia, all the investments they had in Europe and the US, the one that they seized, we're going to use that money and give it to Ukraine to buy weapons.
بس كده. Stealing.
Now, how is that a problem? I'll tell you. Because the US was the world currency and Russia was rich with oil and gas, they had to deal with dollar. So when they put sanctions on them, 70% of Russia's money was put on hold because it was dealt with in dollars because they couldn't move it in the banks. So Russia was like, yo, we're changing all the way we move. And they changed it. And they're using their own currency to do certain things. And now the whole world is looking at the US saying, oh, so every time you're angry, you're just going to block us? Now BRICS is coming up with this whole new plan of new currency and a new idea what currency is. Actually, they came with like 50 points of what this new currency is going to be. It's going to be digital currency. What's it going to be? How they're going to do it? Why? Because everyone's looking at the US saying, oh, so that's how you're going to get us in the future.
Yeah, that's the game.
So since this is how you want to play, we're going to move in a certain way.
وفر في جيبك.
Exactly. So the US, with its own stupidity, shouldn't get stuff in the foot, right? Over and over again, thought that they were so big that the world is just going to react to whatever they want. And then they notice, oh, okay, no, there's actually a Chinese superpower that's saying, yo, guys, you can do whatever you want and we're cool with y'all.
Yeah, we won't give you lectures.
Yeah, they're like, oh, Saudi is telling us, yo, we don't give a fuck what you guys are talking about. We're going to do our own thing also. We're going to move in our own way. Oh, Russia is saying, yo, you can sanction us if you want. We're going to vibe our own way. And on top of that, when the US was trying to fight with the whole idea of, yo, what's happening, what's going on, and trying to move things around, right?
Yeah.
We are watching Israel run around and do whatever the hell it wants.
Yes.
And the US is not doing anything about it.
I believe Joe Biden's response was, "Beep, beep, me, 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 me." The joke is that he's sleepy.
Yeah. I get the nickname.
If you didn't get it, listeners, he's sleepy.
Sleepy Joe. So now you're watching this country that acted like the world police and that says these are the laws and just breaks its own laws, allowing a country to run genocide and things worse than the Holocaust.
Correct.
And they're not saying a single word. Not a single word is being said. And so you're punishing people using the currency that you force everybody to use. And then you're allowing your own friends to be monsters and you're not doing nothing about it. So no, why should I trust this currency? Why should I be attached to this currency? Why should I make deals with these people? And that kind of hurt everything the U.S. wants to build in the future. That's why the U.S. is begging Saudi to come up with a new deal.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first times. No, it's not one of the first times. It's in the same way that we had power negotiations the first time. This was during Malik Abdulaziz. Now we're having the same negotiations happen again during Malik Salman and the current president Mohammed Salman. Now we're in a position saying, we know what you need, but we remember what you do.
Yeah.
You know, so we're not going to play it your way. You're not going to come and say, hey, I'll give you 1, 2, 3. Just say yes. Nah, bro. This is going to be way longer. So right now, I think the reason why there wasn't a big fuss about all that, we just see a lot of hard hits, is because they've been in negotiations for a long time. And I think if a deal cannot be brokered, you will see the first effect of it with Saudi and China.
So it's interesting times. That's what you're telling me.
Oh, it's very interesting time. Like it's very interesting time for the country. We're watching exactly how powerful our country is.
Yeah.
You know, we're still moving in silence. We're not being very loud, but we know how to conduct deals.
Correct.
Oh, I think it's quite apparent globally. Alhin.
Oh, the globe knows.
Yeah.
The globe knows not to play with us.
Yes.
The globe are all happy. Like, yo, bro, we actually were. Germany came out and said, yo, actually, we were wrong not to support Saudi against the Houthis.
Yeah.
Okay, our word, now.
Y'all were saying it's
Yeah.
And in the last, I think, 2 or 3 years, Saudi has not been fighting with the Houthis. But guess who is?
the U.S.
The U.S. and the U.K. and France.
The UK and France. I'm like, interesting.
This
How the
could have been all
turntables
avoided.
turn.
This all could have been avoided.
It's
real
like we
quick.
told y'all for the past 8 or 10 years.
It's interesting time.
مرة.
I don't know if, again, we don't know if the stories of the petrodollar is real. It seems very real. But I think the way we're moving forward is going to be so different. And it's going to have a huge impact on our future.
I believe, like you said, there's a recognition among the world and okay, it is we as Saudi, we are a country of importance. But it's going to take the US a long time to publicly admit that. Because here's the thing, Turks. The media in the US in general is an extension of the US public policy at that time. So when you read like magazines and newspapers such as the New York Times, The Economist, etc., you are looking basically at the median Democrat or Republican position depending on the publication that you're reading.
You're watching what the government wants to understand.
What's being said. So a lot of the quote unquote anonymous sources, etc. This is where you take the information from. And for the longest time, it's going to continue like, oh, Saudi's on the brink of collapse. Saudi's blah 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 blah, because that's not the message they want to put out there right now. Maybe 20, 30 years ago when the Khalas and okay, we can't really afford to ignore this, then we'll have the media disseminating, okay, Saudi are important. Because we're starting to see a little bit of it when specifically when it comes to like tourism, people who are actually coming here and seeing the country. So you have that media message coming out, even with the whole editorial slant and bullshit and biases that you expect. But the narrative...
It's still cutting through.
It's still cutting through. It's changing. It's because it's undeniable.
Also, according to the rumors, there's a deal that was set, that was agreed upon by Saudi and the US. And the deal is going to move forward. The only problem with that deal is not a Saudi problem, it's actually a US problem, which is recognizing Palestine, which also wouldn't give the country enough credit for the hard work it did around the globe, of convincing
Hey,
all
man.
these European
Hey,
countries
man.
to recognize. Like I love how we move in silence, but if you're in Saudi, you already know that we've been moving real crazy behind the scene to make sure that things go aligned. And convincing everybody to get online is remarkable. The foreign minister, bro, I've never seen him take so many flights. And one day I see him in Japan and I see him in India, right? And then like 8 minutes later, he's in Spain for some reason. So like so much credit for that. And so basically they told him, Ismail, like we have no problem. We can all agree on this, but we still want Palestine to be recognized. We want a 2-state solution. And we want Israel to back the fuck down. And that is part of the deal. You can't give us those three. Fine, then we'll side and deal with you, and we have nothing to do with Israel. We don't give a shit about Israel. It can burn for all we give a fuck about, right? We're gonna do our own thing with our own people. And we're still gonna stand for a free Palestine. We're still gonna stand for a 2-state solution. We're still gonna stand for all of that.
Yeah.
And so the U.S. is in a position where it needs to convince its own little, I don't know, butt buddy, right? That they should behave themselves in order for the deal to go through.
It's a little genocide, buddy.
It is a genocide, buddy. Oh, that one's never gonna be forgotten, bro.
Right.
Like this is never gonna be forgotten. You cannot use that bullshit of World War II anymore. That shit doesn't fly with us Muslims anymore. Keep that shit for the whites.
It never flew.
It never flew, but we're never so loud in public about it.
No, it's not it's starting to not fly with the whites. That's the interesting part here. It's the idea, and okay, fine, but okay, your grandfather died in the Holocaust. Why are you killing this Palestinian family in Gaza?
Yes.
Why are you exterminating entire lineages?
Why are you taking their homes?
Yes, exactly. I'm like, you're not special because you're oppressed. It doesn't make you noble. Suffering just made you suffer.
Yeah. It's good times.
It's interesting.
It's not good times.
No,
like I was going to say,
nowhere near good times.
It's interesting times.
It's interesting times. I really hope
like you're seeing these people resort to like fucking catapults and throwing Molotovs cocktails across the border. It's like,
I know.
like what is this? Okay, crusades, but not literally. Shabab.
Also, the Arab world kind of understands the game. Like, Israel has been hitting Lebanon, has been hitting Syria, has been doing everything it could to get a war going, and nothing.
Yeah,
they can get nothing out of it.
Yeah,
now for like 6 months, every time we see you bombing innocent people. Nobody else is fucking with you.
It's like Baba Biden, come on, ساعدنا. يلا. Well, for all time's sake. يلا. تعال خش.
Yeah, that guy is lost. Anyways. Great stories, boys. What did I do?
What did you do?
You tried to end the podcast.
I was playing.
It was.
Oh, okay. Then plug my mic in.
You can't hear it?
Yep. Okay, no wonder. Yeah. I lost my headphones. I'm like, what's going on? I couldn't hear a single thing.
You pushed the button too hard.
And it's gone, by the way. The clip ended and you muted it. You can't hear it right now?
I can't hear nothing.
Okay, it's playing.
It is playing.
We didn't say كل عام وانتم بخير.
عيد مبارك كل عام وانتم بخير.
صح.
Totally forgot, bro.
لازم أكون بدري.
Forgot.
Oh, yeah.
7:30.
Well, I don't have my headphones on. I can't hear nothing, bro. Anyways, shout out to our tons and tons of listeners. Shout out to tons and tons of viewers. Thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying. Thank you for listening.
Shamsi, we don't miss you.
Shamsi's still on his vacation. Hopefully we can get him back
We do
anytime
not
soon.
miss you.
If we don't get him, rest in peace. We could care less. Anyways, we out.
Peace.
Peace. عيد مبارك
كل عام وانتم
everybody.
بخير.
Everybody,
كل عام
كل عام
وانتم
وانتم بخير. Yeah, vibe. Yeah.
Gang signs.
Peace.
Peace.